Hello and welcome to Daily Game Design. Today I'm going to be spending time with Italo de Santis's Roma. It sounds like there's maybe like a little design team working on this one. And so I'll spend time on this rulebook. Remember, the goal here is that basically I'm experiencing this rulebook for the first time. I know nothing about the game. And the hope here is that the writers of the rulebook, help that this gives the writers of the rulebook the kind of feedback they need to help like shortcut the blind playtesting phase. So I'm not going to get through the whole rulebook, but I think about rules a lot. I think about language a lot. And so hopefully some of the way I think about rules will be helpful. In that, my approach here is that I'm reading like a dummy. And that means that I need the writers to feed me information when I need it and how I need it in order to achieve clarity and to efficiently get the rulebook out of the way. The ultimate goal, in my view, the ultimate goal of the rulebook is to provide players with the tools they need to manipulate components on the table. And of course, to interact with their either opponents or corroborators or their collaborators. So, yeah, I do not expect rulebooks to be fun to read. I don't expect them to be interesting to read. What I expect of them is that they are practical to read. In other words, I can find what I need to very quickly. I'm reading from top to bottom, and I expect the writers to give me the kind of information that is useful at the right time and in a concrete, practical way, always with a view on how to do things. Like how to do things, not why to do things, but how, and I should say how and when to do things. So I really treat the rulebook as a reference. And again, the idea is to start playing sooner than later. I want to get to the table, be playing games with my friends, not being stuck in a rulebook for a long time, right? So, this is like a very specific way of thinking about rules, a very specific approach to rules. Not everybody thinks this way about rules. So all it is time for me to kind of practice this craft. I do view the reading of a rule book and the writing of rules as a type of craft, skill set. So this is an opportunity for me to enjoy going through this process and practice communicating about these things. It's because rules and rule books are very, very important. Obviously, they govern what's possible in a game. Some people argue that they are the game, the rules of the game. And what I see over and over and over is that complaints about the rule book kill the game. As in, if there are problems with the rule book, the game is less likely to get played, less likely to get enjoyed. And so my goal here is to support designers and rulebook writers through the process of making sure that people can understand their game. That's my hope here. Not guaranteeing I'll catch everything or that everything I do or say will make sense or be useful, but my goal here is just to offer some feedback. Here's some crazy stuff. I just learned that one of our gamers, her house was affected by the flooding. So anyway, that will be on my mind as I go here. Okay, so remember, this is all from opening up to BGDL, the Board Game Design Lab Facebook group, and offering some free feedback. So what I have here is, it looks like it's going to be a pretty extensive kind of civ building game. I have to say that this is not necessarily my favorite type of game. There are often lots of moving parts. There could be lots of like little finicky rules. And so just as a baseline, I might not be the right audience for this game. I should should put that out there. And because that will affect my reading of the rules. I should also point out he sent along this like this, I think Roma is one of the civilizations. Oh, so he sent along 2 civ cards. So it looks like each civilization has their own stats, their own building. Yeah, things cost different things. Like a colony costs whatever this is. 2P, 2W, 20, 2O, 2G. Whereas it's 2, 3, 3, and 3. So everybody's got their own little table to work from. Yeah, I can already imagine that this yes, this is one of those games that's big and long and attractive to somebody who enjoys like spreadsheet gaming. I don't think that's a real term, but I mean people who don't mind looking up things on tables. That's okay. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful. Also, what stands out to me is that there is very little layout in this rulebook. Obviously, there's just these little, it looks like these, this is literally designed in a spreadsheet. So that's also funny. And useful. I mean, that's, yeah, this doesn't need to look final for me to get any value from reading it. But there's also something to this that I think is important. And that is that typically when I'm writing rules, I think it's important to start with only text. I think for the most part, and there will be some exceptions, I'm sure, but for the most part, a game should be understood through text alone. So I put a premium on clarity in text, and then the images, the illustrations that are often accompanying the text, I think they should add to the clarity, contribute to the clarity, but they should not bear the load of expressing the rules. The illustrations and the images that come up in rulebooks should not bear the load of expressing the rules. So you need to find ways to talk about the game, right? To describe how things work in language. And that's usually super hard. But here we are. Anyway, so even though this rulebook is not near completion, there's no way this is close to a final. Like with a table like we saw on those cards, there's no way this explains all the rules. But we can at least do some preliminary reading and offer preliminary feedback. So here we are, Roma, a game of Mediterranean conquest. Who will dominate the Mediterranean? You decide. Okay, I like that there is a heading here right away. Initial setup. There's probably no need to say initial here. Often we just say setup. Unless there is a major kind of reset phase between rounds, for example, then maybe initial makes sense. But here's my here's my standard of efficiency showing up. I don't want any extra extra words in the rulebook. It'd be nice if only the essentials are there. Why? Because every word costs energy. There's a cost. Because I want to know why it's there. You know, and maybe I don't think this is just me, but I think I probably think more about this than the average reader. So they had to read initial setup, and of course, setup here I think would be one word. But I really don't want to get slowed down too much here. But every word should be there on purpose. It should have a reason. If initial is here because there is also another type of setup, that makes sense. If initial is here because they just want to express that it's at the start of the game, well, that's redundant because setup means you're getting ready for the game. So I don't want to charge people extra energy to have them read something they don't need to read in order to understand what's happening. So hopefully I don't have to stop and pause like that very often. But in this case, remember, I'm always thinking like, how do you reduce the word count but still maintain clarity? Yeah, the game is designed for 3 to 5 players, up to 7 players with expansions. Okay, I don't want to know this. This is maybe like Kickstarter page stuff. but I'm reading the rule book because I am interested in whatever version of the game I have. Okay, that's my view here. Now you might think it's useful. You might want to like hint to players that the game could get bigger. But in my view, I'm reading the rule book for what I have. And if this already includes expansions, then it's already a 7-player game. If this does not include expansions, it is not a 7-player game, and I don't want to know about it in the rule book. I might want to know about it in marketing materials, but I don't want to know about it in the rule book. A 3-player game, Gaul, Greece, and Rome. Yeah, I don't want to know. If this is the version that has, what I want to clarify is this is useful information for somebody at some point. It's not useful information for me right here and right now. I never want to be harsh when I'm responding to these rule books, but that is the case. So this is true, right? I have a version of the game that only has these 3 things. Okay, so I don't want to know this. The rule book is meant to describe what I have in front of me right here, right now. Okay, what is this? Okay, roll dice, highest plays, Rome. Remaining players choose nations based on rolls. Roll dice. What does this mean? As in, how many dice do I need to roll? Are you talking about, so what is this? So I would okay, I'm sure Italo is going to think I'm being super hard on the rule book. And in a way I am. But I don't mean to be very negative. But I am going to read this and be pretty hard on it. So remember, it's always in order to move the game forward, move the product forward. Just please keep that in mind. So roll dice. What are we doing this for? Should this have a section heading? You might label this selecting civilizations or selecting factions, right? I want to know what this is for, what I'm getting into before you just tell me to do stuff. What is this for? It's selecting faction, right? All players roll 1 die, 1 6-sided die, or 1d6. The highest player plays Rome. Other players, what are the other players doing? Remaining players choose nations based on rolls. So how does this work? In other words, if I roll second highest, what do I do? So this is not, you can see that this is not concrete or clear enough for me. And I think there would be other people. Now this might be obvious to the designer what this means, but it's not obvious to me. So what do you mean based on the rolls? Is it that did the rolls establish selection order, draft order? Like, why is the highest taking Rome and why aren't they choosing? By the way, I think I typically, and this is a development thought, it's not a rulebook thought, but players should be able to choose things. If there's not a reason that I get Rome other than randomness, I think that could be a problem, and I would recommend that they develop that idea out of the game. Now, I don't want to have a development. I don't want to wear a development hat most of the time here, but if players roll and that roll is supposed to do something, I would like to be able to choose, to have a choice built in with this roll. Because also, I can't really tell, do these guys choose? Like, really? Remaining players choose nations. Oh, they're nations. Right, they're not factions, they're nations. What are the nations? So here's the thing. Again, I said this in the first rulebook look that I had since the BGDL invitation. I want to know, these things need to be defined. You're telling me, I know you're telling me, or what you're hoping is that I assume that the nations are Gaul, Greece, and Rome. That's what you're hoping I assume. But that's dangerous. Just hoping I assume certain things like this. Also because you talked about them as factions. Are they nations or are they factions? Don't use 2 different terms for the same thing. Are they nations or are they factions? Pick one and use it. You said they're factions up here. You said they're nations down here. Wait, are those different things? If they have different names, I assume they are different things. Okay? Each player starts with a city of size 1. I don't know what this means yet. I have no context for this. So it seems like I would want maybe a description of generally what the components are. And this is where you would have like a components list before initial setup. And maybe that's one of the weaknesses here of just relying on text. Anyway, what I expect in the order of the structure of a rulebook is an introduction, a components list, and then setup. The reason you need a components list first is because you are defining the materials, you're giving them a name, so that later on when you're describing those materials, there is already a name attached to the object, right? Because a tile is a tile, it's not another thing unless you name it something else in the initial like composition or in the initial presentation of the components. So when is is this a tile or is it an army? You get to say in the components list, this tile it's actually an army. And now from that point on, you can refer to armies in the rules. But don't do that unless you've established that relationship in the components list. It needs to be shown in the components list that a thing is a thing, right? So this I don't understand. I don't have context for this. And also I don't know what a capital is. 2 basic resources. I don't know what the resources are. You haven't listed them. You just say W, O, and G. No idea what those things mean. New cities can be founded anywhere a city location is marked. Okay, this is in fact a rule about cities, so it should not be in the setup. This would be something, a consideration that you could share as you define how the game works after you've described the setup. So this is not necessarily appropriate here in this section. I don't want to know anything other than, in the setup section, I don't want to know anything other than what I have to do to get ready to play the game. I don't want to know anything else. This should only be about manipulating components, placing things out, shuffling things, giving things to players, having players lay out things on their player boards. There should be nothing other than what do I do with the components, and maybe establishing something like the start player. What do I have to do before I can play? It's not what do I understand about what we're doing. It's what do I have to do before we can get started. That's what setup is. Okay? So save these rules for something else. That's my impression anyway. You cannot build cities outside of your initial territories. Yes, these are city building rules. They are not part of setup. Each player starts with a four prayer. Oh, maybe this should just say 4 prayer tokens, not 4 prayer tokens. Fair enough. Prayers can be used up to 1 time. Okay, so this is more rules about the components. This is not setup. Start a new city card for your cities. Write down city name and set the current population. Okay, do I have a city card? Nobody gave me a city card yet. Remember, this is all of the steps necessary to start the game. One of those steps apparently is to distribute city cards to every player. Okay, so it looks like, what have we done so far? So we have selected factions. What do I do then? Do you give me a city card related to that faction, or just a blank city card and then I write down what faction I have? I don't know. So I don't know what this means. Right. And then write down a city name and set the current population. No idea what this means either. What is the current population? How would I know? You would need to establish a few things before I can understand what this means or what to do when you say set the current population. Okay, players order by highest dice roll. What does this mean? What do you mean order? Is it just turn order? Is there a way to track turn order? Am I just supposed to remember turn order? Also, I think what you mean is highest to lowest dice roll, right? Because there's no order based on the highest dice roll. Just the highest dice roll is just one person. Also, you don't really you haven't said what to do if there are ties. So usually you want to add what to do when there are tied rolls, and usually it's just roll until the tied players roll until there is no tie. Like all tied players roll until there are no longer ties. And there might actually be a couple more rules there because um, the tied players would probably be somewhere in the order of like, let's say somebody rolls a 6, somebody rolls a 1, and then two players roll a 3. Well, then the 3s roll off, right? Well, what if one of them rolls a 1 and one of them rolls a 6? It's not that now the 6s are tied. It's not that the 1s are tied. It's actually now that one of the players who rolled a 3 now is the second player. Another one is the third player. So that you had the 6 be the first player, one of the 3s be the second, one of the 3s be the third, and then now the 1 is the fourth player. So you might actually want to establish how that works with a few rules. Okay. Turn actions. I don't know. Okay, what is so the turn order is, so there's nothing like okay, going clockwise. It's that the turn order is established by dice rolls, and this is at the start of the game for the whole game? Or should we reseat ourselves? Should I sit in a different place because I'm going second? Should I move seats to be in the second place going clockwise? I'm not sure what to do here or what to do with this information. Okay, Rome moves. Are you saying that Rome is a player? You mean the player who is playing as Rome, right? I'm not suggesting you put that language there, but just realize that it's not obvious what this means. You think it is, and maybe that's okay. Maybe some people will understand what you mean. Okay, turn actions. Are these in order, or can I choose one of these? So there should be something here which transitions me into understanding why there's a list. Okay, why is there a list here? Is this because I can choose one, or do I have to go in order? Also, you haven't established any goals yet for the game. You haven't described exactly, in general, what are we doing? You've said, who will dominate the Mediterranean? Okay, so domination is somehow part of this. But I don't know how to win. I don't know why I'd be doing any of these things. So offering some context would be very helpful. So building the picture, like what are the goals of the game? What are some of the main things that are going to be happening during the game? You can put this in a little introduction section. So often there would be, well, actually what I prefer is that there is an intro section that offers a thematic introduction. We're in the Mediterranean region, we're in conflict over this ancient world is in conflict, something like that. Okay, that's all thematic. It doesn't tell a player anything about what they're going to be doing during the game. It's all thematic. Then I want a gameplay overview. I want an overview of the kinds of things that I'll be doing during this game. So players will something move units, initiate combat, develop their technologies by upgrading different things. Like, what are they doing? Yeah. Okay, so provide the context necessary to understand what this is about. So you can see that a couple of the questions I have are, am I taking, like, how can I take all of these actions? Do I do all of these things in order? Like, why is there a list of these here? there should be a short paragraph describing what's going on. So maybe you could have a turn sequence section and just list what happens during a player's turn. And is it that we're taking, I guess we are taking turns. And so maybe you did establish that. Players order what? Oh. Yeah, this I would work on this little sentence here. I just realized. Player order is this turn order. Okay, so players the player with the highest dice roll becomes the first player, right? The second highest dice roll becomes the second player, and so on. Something like that. Because order, go to ordering pizza? No, I'm joking a little bit, but like remember that words could have more than one meaning. And so sometimes adding a couple of words to help clarify what that is useful. Okay, so we have some turn actions. Rome moves the turn marker to indicate current game turn. Do you mean round marker or do you mean turn marker? I assume you mean round marker. Unless the player moves this each time a player takes a turn, which I don't think they do, I would call this a round marker to indicate the current round of the game. If you are on a risk turn, okay, I don't have context for what this means. So give us a description of what is possible before you tell us what happens when a thing happens. Okay, draw a Will of the Gods card and resolve immediately. Move your units. So step 3, right? It's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Move your units. Wait a minute. How do you move? Oh, okay. This is way too far down. If it is step... It's step 3. And it's halfway down the rulebook. I don't really know why. I don't even know if this is what they're talking about. I don't know if this is what they're talking about. Yeah, so I think what they mean is that this is a turn overview. This is not really an appropriate place for just listing actions unless it is an overview of the turn sequence. So turn sequence overview. I could see that, and then this becomes a reference for the sections that are below. But then I would want a section describing a section connected with number 1, number 2, number 3, or these become the sections in that there is a paragraph or another list of what movement means and how it works right here. So in other words, I would put this movement, if it's related, because I don't know, I would put this section of this text underneath move your units. Okay? Because also, do I have to move my units? What if they're in a good spot? Do I have to move them? All of them? Can I just choose to leave most and move 1? Okay. Production. And now there's a ton of text under production. Move your units, execute unit actions. Okay, so this is effectively a turn sequence overview. Or are these is this for everybody? Is everybody doing this at the same time? Or are they all doing this like Okay, here's the round overview. It could be like that. So it could be like so round, because I think you're talking about, you're using the term turn when I would use the term round. I think that's what's happening. So if you are on a risk, do this thing. And then everybody moves their units in turn order, right? I think that might be what's going on here. See, I'm having to kind of guess at or deduce how this game works. In other words, this rulebook, I'm sure we can make a lot of progress on this rulebook. So now everybody moves their units, right? Probably in turn order. Then everybody takes their actions, hopefully in turn order. Then, wow, gain resources, gain basic resources equal to the city's current population. Don't know what this means. Is that on one of the cards? It probably is. Is it? How do I know? I'm sorry, I don't have any idea what's happening here. Reach size 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12. Anyway, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to know or understand from these cards, but it doesn't tell me anything about the city population, unfortunately. So I don't know how this works, or I don't even know how to tell what my city's population is. Okay, grow the city. If the city completed a full, don't know what this means. So I think I think I'm probably, unfortunately, I know this might be very kind of disappointing or frustrating to be getting this kind of response, Italo, because I can see you guys have put a lot of time into this game. And it looks like you're kind of still brainstorming what should be the content of the rulebook. That's the good news, is that you sent it to me. You're probably talking to other people about it. You're hopefully getting some more feedback. So what I can tell you, and this is the sad news, is that the rulebook here is not functional. Nobody could play the game who doesn't already know the game. Nobody could play the game based on this rulebook, and or even the rules as they're written from top to bottom. Okay, so what I would do is I would probably hire an editor, and they would start from scratch. They would talk with you about the game. I guess it's not an editor, really. It's a rulebook writer. You should really hire somebody who can talk with you and extract from you. This is actually, I've done this before, and I'm not saying I should be the one. In fact, I announced that I cannot take on I can't take on freelance work right now, but you should connect with somebody who will sit with you, pull the rules out of you, maybe even learn to play the game from you, and then write the rule book. So I would start this one over. There's good content here. I can see there's kind of a list of rules that for sure you know and you understand very well, but no player would be able to play the game based on what is written here. And I can say that with confidence. If you were to hand this rule book to a player, obviously it's not finished. I get it. It's not finished. It would need illustrations. It would need, like I described already, it would need a components list and that kind of stuff. But if you were, yes, I just want to emphasize, if you were to hand a player the components and this rule book, they would not be able to play the game. Not even close. They wouldn't even be able to start playing the game. So hopefully that is a warning to you, but also an encouragement to you that I think you've made a lot of progress here. And this gives you a direction. Absolutely connect with the rulebook writer and let the rulebook writer start from scratch and just help you build out the sections as they need them. But yeah, I think that's all I'm going to look at. Um, it looks big, it looks heavy, it looks complex. I also want to just reinforce too that I know I'm not the audience for this game, and that audience certainly exists. But let's. Actually wish I knew somebody who was ready to help you write the rules. Um, because anyway, you've got something here, you've got something you're really excited about. I want to affirm that. I want to encourage you to continue working on this, just with the step of connecting with a rulebook writer and starting the rules from scratch with your understanding of how the game works. Right? I did this myself. I partnered with a publisher. I'd never played the game before, but the rulebook was not functional, and I hit the reset button on the rulebook, and then we got it to a place where we're fairly confident that people could play the game. However, they actually did not test the rulebook, which I encourage them to do. It looks right now like the game is surviving. I haven't seen a lot of rulebook questions or problems. It looks like the game is doing okay. But okay, I think that's it for me. I'm sorry if this was a disappointment to you, that I didn't read through the whole thing. But I think just early indications here, right at the top, uh, leave me to push you to start again with a rulebook writer, rules writer, and somebody who is really good at capturing your ideas in a really practical, concrete way, and that will communicate to your players exactly what to do and when to do it. Okay, that's it for this rulebook look. I am going to transition to back to Solar Smugglers. I want to make sure that the mod is up to date. Hang on one second. Okay. Oh, you know, it's a pretty cool thing. We had a very nice time last night for games. We had Chris come out. He came out to kind of hang out with Adam, who was visiting here for the retreat. And meanwhile, a couple of other kind of more rare attendees came through. And just look at this. Like, this is why we're doing what we're doing. We had just over 20 people here. I think 2 people here for the first time. And everybody split up, found something to do. We all enjoyed each other's company. Of course, you know, people stayed fairly separate, but we did call everybody together in the middle, made some announcements, and we do this thing now. I think this was also Lehula's prompting. We do this thing now where we go around the room, even with this many people. We go around the room and everybody will say their name. And then I usually have a little prompt for people to respond to. So in this case, they had to choose an Olympic winter sport that they would like to participate. If they were an Olympic athlete, what winter sport would they be in? And there were some just really genuinely clever, funny moments here where we went around this like big room. And first of all, Omar was the very first person to say something after me, and he just said he would like to be a video gamer. Okay, didn't make any sense, but it was awesome. And then Tyler said curling. We had figure skating. I said biathlon because of what my friend Anthony Handel said about how that could be like the coolest sport ever. Because it's so tough to be out of breath and then be shooting really steadily at something, or be really steady in order to aim well, to fire on a target. It's crazy to do that. So I've been very impressed with that sport ever since he observed that. But here's what was funny too. So by the end of all 20 something of us saying something, there was a curling team, and then there was like almost a full bobsledding team. So somebody said bobsledding, and then somebody else was like, yeah, I'm gonna bobsled with that guy, and then I'm gonna join the bobsledders. And then one guy said he's gonna be the bobsledding coach because he has a cool running tattoo. And I just thought that was perfect. There were some really great moments there. So, but this is the target right here. This is the goal. People from diverse backgrounds getting together, sharing time at the table, learning games, having adventures together, rekindling friendships, meeting new people. You know, it was also crazy. Spontaneously, there was like a full potluck. People brought food, and we basically had like a full meal. It was insane, with pizza and a variety of proteins and desserts, and I had some fruit and something else like chips there. It was just this huge variety of food that people just spontaneously brought, and it was amazing. So anyway, that was a really, this is my dream for our Monday game nights right here. What you see here, people enjoying each other's company and making memories together. So it's just a really nice thing. Also, it was cool for Adam to join and kind of see how things work. Okay, so one of my goals for working on Solar Smugglers is to update the mod. I'm pretty sure that is out of date. And maybe I should take a BGA turn. I just started several games of Ark Nova, a couple games of Beyond the Sun, so I'm just really excited to just be caught up in this right now. Just interesting people having a nice time. Okay, I need to build some stuff. The problem is I don't really have... Oh, I do have a 3 right here. I don't need this card, or should I build this 4? I think I'm going to build this 4 and work toward it. So I have the money to do it exactly. So that actually worked out. And I think I guess I have to build this way. And I can snap a card, but I don't know if there's a card that is a good fit. Anyway, I do want to build and get the build card out of the way. Ark Nova is just a really fun game, and I hadn't played in a long time. Oh, I guess I can draw a card. I have this. Well, my cards are here. So I'm working toward the Sumatra. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Okay. I actually need 2 waters for it, so I can't place it there. But I'm gonna... Oh, this is sad, actually. Wait a second. I'm gonna build a 3. Oh, this is a bird, and... Oh, shoot. I need the... I'm stuck. I need the university, like the partnership for it. This one I can make progress toward, but it needs 2 water, and so I'm 1 away from that, and I need to... Dang it. So maybe what I do is I build this 3. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to build this 3. I have just enough money to do it. I'm still going to snap a card. Okay, and then when I build the 4, I can build it right here and get one of these those tokens. So I can still snap a card. I don't need that. I think I'm gonna just draw, oh, Africa, but I'm never gonna get this many. I'm just gonna draw. that's strong. I don't think I'm ever gonna do that, but also I don't think I'm gonna do this. Oh wait, it does give me a tag. And I do have the reputation I need, or the knowledge. I forget what this track is called, but okay. I actually think I am gonna play this, and it'll be ready next turn. So that's good. Perfect. Should I sell this? I just don't think I'm gonna continue building such huge enclosures. Guess I could. There's room here. Like, these are really strong, but they're so expensive. Well, I could sell a card. I'm just wondering if I think it's a good plan. I'll keep it. And there's time. I can still sell because there's no break pressure. Oh wow, this is the first of our actions. I'm not gonna spend time on this. I'm gonna open up a TTS. And then make sure that the mod is up to date. I don't even remember what my cards are. There's birds, predators. It's gonna be tough to like keep in mind all the different games I'm in and like what my goals are. uh, I'm kind of realizing I really should make separate hmm, like separate images for these decks so that I can just update one deck and be done. Except that it's going to be actually something more like update 3 decks. So maybe it's fine that I just... Oh, you know what I could do? I could open up Dexterous again. So I think it's an Azure HQ, and I have my... These are all the main cards. So this is the most up to date. So I can make I can make a tabletop simulator file. Now I just need to remember how to import them. We have a tutorial. I'll do that. Exporting. Saved objects folder. That's what I need to find. see where that saved objects folder is. Wow, I found that a lot faster than I thought I would. So that's good news. I think I need both of these. Let's see. What I'm hoping for is a miracle here, which is just to what is this? No way. That's awesome. Oh, you know what I did is I made the solar storm cards minis, American US mini cards. Okay. The stuff is definitely not as pretty. What am I looking at here? Right, because I like muted the colors. The dimensions are also clearly different. See, like that's kind of not awesome. Oh, whoops. So oh, let me shuffle these. Yeah, I noticed that when I was creating the cards in Dexterous, is that I had to resize them because you'll notice like there's this white around them. And I didn't get the sizing quite right, but I wanted to leave a little cushion in case I, got something really wrong for the sleeving, because I created these cards. Like I fully built out this prototype. And it's not perfect because oh, now that I'm saying this, I realize I can actually like inflate. I think I might still have sleeves for tarot size cards. Because the cards that I'm going to use as trackers for the physical prototype, because I don't have all this stuff, all these tokens. I didn't make all these. Oh, I don't need to set this up, actually. Wait a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. I can, should I? Why are you doing that? I can actually inflate these, and it shouldn't really affect. Yeah, it shouldn't really affect things. Like like you can still read this without any problem. Now I can get rid of all these. Actually, I think everything, because I think this also includes. Okay, we have player aids. Great. Don't need. Guess I could use all these. Okay, the loan card is its own little card now, and these now are, yep, the 14. What I was thinking is I'll just leave this in, and it's no guarantee that you'll actually be able to trade during the auction. A reason why I'm doing that is because you can trade all the time if you go to Smugglers Den. We're gonna just put these, like, set these off to the side. I'll just put this over here. Can you hear Facebook? I forget if I have. Oh, I do. I'm gonna mute that. Ring. Okay, so that should be everything. Oh, the only thing that I did not include here is cubes or discs. I'll just leave cubes out. So I'll do this. And what I was deciding, I think this was yesterday. If somebody tries to go for this strat, maybe it should be all. I'm just gonna place 5 here actually then. Yeah, there's something really weird going on with my neck and shoulder today. It's not just today, but it's like in general. Uh, there's just a stiffness, a kind of really kind of intense discomfort where I've had trouble before. It's been a problem for a while now, but it's just like kind of extra right now. Okay, so this should be all components. I feel like this could be bigger. Why not make it bigger? Oh, let me move it at least. Oh, because these cards, shrink them a little bit. And I can even set them over here. So maybe there's no need to be like stressing about this. But I can increase. No, maybe that's it. Oh, I could go up was what I was thinking, because I could set them over here. And then make the row somewhere over there. This guy could slide up and get bigger. Yeah, because these could all just actually be just over here somewhere. Okay, so this wait. Oh, these were not attached to the thing itself. They were attached to the table. I thought I locked this though. That's weird. Oh, of course. It's because it's the cards that have the. Like it's the cards and not the game board that have the spots. I think there is a way to flip this card over when it comes over here, but I don't remember how to do that, and it also doesn't matter a whole lot. Okay, now I'm going to overwrite this. No, it's this one. Cool. So this includes or incorporates it incorporates all the changes I made. The cards are uglier, but that's because they were the print and play file. And that's okay. And for me, I think I've reached the end of my time. Really appreciate you hanging out with me and being involved in the rulebook looks and always making progress, moving forward. I have a fair amount to get done. I think I'm going to build the library. Maybe I'll work on the library today. We'll see. There's always something to do for the retreats. And anyway, looking forward to the weekend. Okay. Have a productive day. Bye-bye for now.